Okay, let's recap our top story. Donald Trump confirmed he personally asked FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review USA striker following Balogun's one-match suspension at the World Cup. Balogun has been cleared to play against Belgium tonight after FIFA took the extraordinary step of suspending his one-match ban.
Yes, I asked for a review by FIFA. I spoke to a man who's highly respected. I think it would have had a big stain. And I related just that feeling. I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do. But and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision. And they made the right decision because, number one, it wasn't a foul. And you want to see a game with your best players. You don't want to say, how would you feel if I took, we take Messi out? Look, he ran into somebody. Or we took Ronaldo. You bunked into somebody, we're going to take you out of a game. He's great. Or Harry Kane, we're going to take you out of the game, Harry, because you happen to hit somebody a little bit harder than you can't do that.
OK, let's get more on this extraordinary story. Delighted to say former England defender Gary Neville joins us live now from New York. Great to see you, Gary. Hope you're having a good time out there. Look, you've just heard from Donald Trump. I can see physically, but could you tell me what is your reaction to what he's had to say?
It's actually the first time I've seen that interview. I should be crying, but I'm laughing. Wow. What do you say to that? He rang up somebody at FIFA and asked them to change their mind, and lo and behold, an independent committee then changed their mind. Look, it's a stain on FIFA, it's a stain on the tournament, it stinks. Actually, just to say to start with, I actually agree with him. I don't think it was a red card. And I actually think there should be some form of process, which apparently there isn't within the FIFA guidelines and rule book, to say that if there is an unjust red card, that we don't want to see players missing games, so that there should be an appeal process in place, so that maybe like we have in the Premier League where they get rescinded. Apparently that's not in place though, so that means it's not in place for any team. For then this to happen whereby just one team, obviously the host nation, and by the way, there's a lot of love out here for the host nation. There's a lot of love out here for the players, for Mauricio Pochettino, for the American fans. There's a lot of pressure on for them before the tournament. Lots of people didn't think they would do very well, but they've been a breath of fresh air from game one. But this now puts a massive stain on that, and they get brought into it as well. And I mean, it's unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's ridiculous. But am I surprised with the sort of people involved? No, I'm not surprised. I don't think any of us should be. We're into a sort of era of sort of where we question what's wrong and right. And is this right? Is this wrong? Is this actually happening? Is this something that, the reason I'm laughing is he's actually, you've got the President of America, a country that when you're brought up in, I think where we're brought up, well, certainly in the 70s and 80s, viewed America as being the sort of protector of the free world, and this idea of, making sure that they were the guardian of honour, of integrity, and sporting integrity now in this competition has, to be fair, been put into question once again. And, FIFA, I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Gary, you might not have seen, but in the last sort of half an hour or so, the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, did issue a statement as well. And in it, he talks about how he did receive a call from the president, Donald Trump, just as he receives calls from other heads of states, etc. But he says that, FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. How big a problem is his relationship with Trump?
I mean, if you understand conflict of interest and good governance in any organisation, you'll realise that ultimately, by what they've both said, it's just ridiculous. The idea that the most powerful man, or one of the most powerful men in the world, can ring up an organisation and then an independent committee make a decision that's unprecedented in football terms within 24 hours of that actual sort of phone call, questions everything: transparency, integrity, and I mean, look, everybody should be uncomfortable with this. And like I say, I've loved the American, the USA team during this tournament. I actually don't think it was a red card, but FIFA haven't got a red card sort of what would be appeal process in place during tournaments, which I think in itself is wrong and probably might be changed after this. I think moving forward, what should happen is if there is a red card that a team believes is incorrect, then they should be able to appeal it. because then if it's unjust, it can be then turned over the day after, and it can be overturned, and we can move on, and the player can play. So I actually think that should be in place, but it's not in place. FIFA don't have the ability to overturn red cards. They've done it through some form of what I think it's called Article 27, which is something that's deep lying. I think it's only ever been used twice before, once for Cristiano Ronaldo, and then once now, obviously, for Balogun. So, look, it's wrong. Belgium are fuming, and rightly so. UEFA have made a very, very strong statement on behalf of Belgium, on behalf of world football, which uses very strong language. And I don't know how long we're going to continue to keep putting up with this type of stuff from FIFA, because it is a stain on the game and it stinks, and it's not right. And yet we keep having to, obviously, to be fair, watch this thing happen year after year, decade after decade.
In terms of setting a precedent, Gary, rightly...
Are we going to talk about England? Can we talk about England?
That is going to be England. Don't you worry, I'm getting there.
Thank you.
Look, are England going to be thinking... It's kind of tied. But are England going to be thinking that they should now have Jarell Quansah's ban for his red card last night suspended? Where do we draw the line?
Well, no, look, I don't think, no. One, I thought it was a red card, so that's the first reason I wouldn't appeal it. I think most people thought it was a red card. I think when you go in with you stood that high at that force, you know you're going to get sent off. So that's the first reason I wouldn't appeal it. Secondly, I don't believe it should be tit for tat. I don't think we should be there thinking, well, OK, the USA have got a player sort of back in the tournament. Now we should. If it was an unjust red card and it was a red card that was debatable, I would probably say, OK, maybe, let's go for it. But, yeah, I wouldn't appeal a red card that we don't think is probably going to be. I thought it was a red card. So, yeah, look, other teams are going to be very angry. There's no doubt about that. I don't think we should be one of them right now, but we may be angry in the next game or post the next game if something happens in that match. So yeah, I don't rule out the idea that this is now going to set a precedent for other teams to want to see players over red cards overturned, but I don't believe that starts with us.